One summer day, three close friends, Emma, Liam, and Sarah, stumbled upon an old and abandoned house on the outskirts of town. The house appeared to have been vacant for years, with deep cracks and peeling paint that mirrored its dark history. The friends were excited about the idea of exploring this house, as eerie tales had circulated about it in the town. Emma, with her brave and inquisitive spirit, took the lead. "Let's go inside and see if this house is really cursed," she exclaimed. Liam and Sarah, though hesitant, reluctantly agreed. As they gently opened the door, the interior was pitch dark and eerily silent. Their first steps inside were met with strange sounds, almost like footsteps, but there was no one else inside. Emma assured her friends that these sounds were products of their imagination. Each room in the house seemed as if it had been frozen in time. Wooden floorings and antique furniture reflected the house's former grandeur. However, this outward beauty couldn't hide the true nature of the house. As they ventured further, they came across a door that appeared to open on its own. The friends exchanged nervous glances but decided to enter inside. This room was different from the rest. The walls were covered in old writings, and in the center of the room stood a massive mirror. Sarah decided to approach the mirror, but as soon as she looked into it, her reflection contorted, revealing a twisted, sinister face. She screamed for help, but the mirror seemed to pull her in. Liam and Emma rushed to her side, trying to free her, but in an instant, Sarah vanished, and the mirror returned to its normal state. Terrified, Liam and Emma made a hasty decision to flee the house, but as they reached for the door, it slammed shut, trapping them inside. They desperately tried every door, every window, but they couldn't escape. The house, filled with envy for those who had escaped, continued to lure new victims into the cursed mirror, never to return. Word of the house's dark secrets spread throughout the town. People learned to stay away, recognizing its dangers, but Emma, Liam, and Sarah remained forever lost within that old, cursed house. As the days turned into weeks, the townsfolk couldn't help but notice the eerie silence that surrounded the old, cursed house. Rumors about its sinister nature had now evolved into chilling legends. Nobody dared to go near it, and even the bravest souls kept their distance. Inside the house, Emma and Liam were desperate to find a way out. They scoured every room, examined every piece of furniture, and inspected every inch of the walls. But the house seemed to shift and change, its layout becoming increasingly labyrinthine. Doors appeared where there were none before, and hallways seemed to stretch endlessly. One night, as they wandered through the seemingly endless corridors, they stumbled upon a room that was unlike any they had seen before. It was a library, but the books on the shelves were filled with forbidden knowledge and ancient spells. Emma, determined to find a way to break the curse, began studying the books, hoping to find a clue or a spell that could free them. Liam, on the other hand, couldn't shake the feeling that they were being watched. Every creak, every whisper, and every shadow seemed to be alive. He tried to convince Emma to leave the room, but she was too engrossed in her research. As Emma continued her studies, The room began to change around them. The walls bled with crimson patterns, and the books whispered dark incantations. Liam's fear grew, and he grabbed Emma's arm, urging her to stop, but it was too late. The room had trapped them in a malevolent spell. Suddenly, the room's entrance vanished, and they were surrounded by a swirling vortex of darkness. The library had become a nightmarish dimension, where time and space were distorted. Emma and Liam could feel the malevolent presence of the house closing in on them. Back in the town, Sarah's absence had not gone unnoticed. Her family and friends organized search parties, combed through the woods, and questioned everyone they could find, but Sarah was gone, as if she had never existed. The cursed house, now more malevolent than ever, had claimed 3 souls. It continued to stand as a dark sentinel on the outskirts of town, a haunting reminder of the evil that lurked within its walls. No one would ever dare to enter it again, for fear of being ensnared by its sinister grip, forever imprisoned in a nightmarish realm beyond imagination. Michael, tired from a long business trip, decided to stay at a hotel. His room was number 307. The hotel had an old and mysterious history, but Michael wasn't one to believe in such things. He just wanted a good night's sleep. When he entered the room, everything appeared normal. However, as midnight approached, strange things began to happen. First, he felt a sudden rush of cold air in the room. He shivered, expecting a warm room. The next bizarre occurrence was the lights flickering on and off. The curtains, without any wind, started rustling and swaying as if someone was pulling them. Michael tried to rationalize these events, but he knew something wasn't right. Then, as he stood before the mirror, he noticed his reflection wasn't looking back at him. His eyes widened in fear as he saw another figure in the mirror, mirroring his own movements, but with a ghostly pallor. Michael attempted to flee, but the door wouldn't budge. He struggled to remain in control as shadows moved rapidly around the room. It was as though the room was being drawn into a dark dimension. Throughout the night, Michael experienced a horrifying ordeal of strange sounds and eerie sights within his room. Finally, as the morning sun slowly rose, he found his room back to normal. His eyes were weary from fear and lack of sleep, but he knew it was time to leave this room behind. When hotel staff heard about Michael's experience, they shared the dark history of room 307. It had been witness to terrifying events in the past, and many guests had reported similar paranormal encounters. Michael checked out of the hotel, but carried the memory of his chilling experience with him. The secret of the hotel room had become a haunting reality for him, forever altering his belief in such occurrences. In the days following his departure from the hotel, Michael couldn't shake the feeling that something had latched onto him. During his nightmarish stay in room 307, unexplained phenomena continued to follow him. Objects around his home moved on their own, and eerie whispers echoed through the halls. The paranormal activity seemed to have taken root in his life. Desperate for answers and resolution, Michael began to research the history of the hotel and the room. He discovered that room 307 had a dark past dating back many decades. It had been the site of a mysterious disappearance in the 1930s, and a tragic death in the 1950s. The room was said to be cursed, a gateway to the supernatural. Determined to confront the malevolent force that had invaded his life, Michael decided to return to the hotel. He wanted to find out the truth and put an end to the curse once and for all. Armed with knowledge and courage, he booked room 307 again. As he stepped into the room, he immediately felt the familiar chill in the air. This time he was prepared. He had brought with him talismans and incantations he had found in his research. He lit candles, sprinkled salt, and chanted protective spells. The room responded violently to his actions. Shadows writhed and the temperature plummeted. A disembodied voice filled the room, speaking in a language he couldn't understand. But Michael stood his ground, determined to break the curse's hold. With a final incantation, the room seemed to convulse, and the malevolent presence was expelled. The shadows dispersed, and the temperature returned to normal. Michael had succeeded in banishing the curse that had plagued room 307 for so long. He checked out of the hotel, knowing that he had confronted the paranormal and emerged victorious. Michael's life returned to normal, and he no longer felt haunted by the events of that fateful night. Room 307 remained a dark chapter in his past, a testament to his courage and determination to confront the unknown. Willowbrook, a small town, appeared peaceful and serene on the surface, but deep within, a dark secret lay hidden. This secret would profoundly change the life of a young man named Daniel. Daniel lived in an old farmhouse just outside town. His only companion was the ghost of his once girlfriend, Emily. Emily had tragically lost her life in a car accident, and after her death, strange occurrences began plaguing the town. Emily's ghost started infiltrating Daniel's dreams every night. Her sorrowful face haunted him, leaving him sleepless simultaneously. The town experienced odd and eerie events. Objects in his house moved on their own, and radios played ghostly music without explanation. The townsfolk believed that Emily's ghost was cursing the town, but Daniel thought that Emily's unfulfilled wishes were the cause. Her ghost seemed to want to convey a message to him. One day, Daniel visited Emily's grave in the town's old cemetery. There he found a note on her tombstone with a few words scrawled upon it. The note explained Emily's final wish before her death. She wanted Daniel to open a special box in their old farmhouse, filled with memories they had shared. Daniel returned home and opened the box inside. He found old photographs, letters, and cherished memories. At the bottom of the box, he discovered an engagement ring. Daniel took the ring and returned to Emily's grave. As he approached the grave, Emily's ghost appeared, thanked him, and smiled. Daniel placed the engagement ring beside her gravestone, and the ghost vanished in a beam of light. After that day, the strange occurrences in the town ceased, and peace returned. By fulfilling Emily's last wish, Daniel had brought solace to her restless spirit. The dark days in the town were behind them, and Daniel had granted his late girlfriend, Emily, eternal peace. With the curse lifted and the eerie occurrences in Willowbrook finally subsiding, Daniel found solace in knowing that Emily's spirit had found peace. The townsfolk also felt the change and welcomed the return of tranquility to their once troubled town. As the seasons passed, Daniel continued to cherish the memories of his time with Emily. He often visited her grave, tending to it with care and leaving fresh flowers. It was as if the connection between them had transcended the boundary between life and death. One particularly chilly autumn evening, while Daniel was reminiscing by Emily's grave, he heard a faint whisper on the wind. It was Emily's voice, soft and gentle, just like it used to be. She spoke of love, gratitude, and the beauty of the afterlife. Over time, Emily's visits became more frequent, and their conversations grew longer. She shared stories of her newfound existence beyond the mortal realm, describing a place of serenity and warmth. Daniel was comforted knowing that she was at peace, and he found solace in the idea that they could still communicate. One day, Emily shared a poignant message with Daniel. She told him that it was time for her to move on to the next stage of her journey. While she cherished their connection, she also understood the importance of letting go. With a heavy heart, Daniel bid her farewell, promising to always remember the love they had shared. The memory of the curse and the resilience of the town served as a reminder that even in the face of the paranormal, love and determination could conquer all. Daniel continued to live his life in Willowbrook, honoring Emily's memory. He knew that she would always be a part of him, and he found comfort in the belief that her spirit had found its eternal resting place, finally free from the burdens of the past.